Hello, beloveds. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video share about embodied INScension. This is part 4, and I invite you to watch my previous videos that they all build on each other regarding the steps in the embodiment of this INScension. And this is reference to those who have experienced the existence of their I am and the awareness of it that has now been called to begin coming into the human experience. So I highly invite you to watch those that are on my YouTube channel. And this is just a little snippet of the direct experience that I'm sharing with you, which some of you will be able to relate only if you also have experienced coming into here. The awareness is there, especially those of you who took part of my 4-4 universal meditation that removed the Atlantean shackle, and you were able to move into pure consciousness. And from pure consciousness, your life has begun shifting and changing around because the grand master self of the I am is coming in. So this video is specifically reference to that. And this part is part 4, which is about inner space. And I really want to speak about this. So the first part was awareness. The second part was compassion. The third part was really, truly letting go. And then this fourth part is inner space. The inner space that I am referring to is this vast silence. The silence that my human self had never experienced. It was always some kind of noise in the background somewhere. Yet, this inner space that I'm speaking of is a vast space where there is no beginning, there is no end. It is just spacious. And from this spacious, there is a lot of room for all sorts of possibilities. And this spaciousness in which I'm speaking with is not within the human experience in its thought field. It is not in its mind. It is not like that. The way that my human experience is experiencing this vast space, it is experiencing it not because it raised its octave of light or anything like that to come to the I am. It's actually the opposite. The human self has remained because it doesn't have the capability to come here. It's the other way. It is when it allows that opening, the great master self, the I am that exists in the pure consciousness, begins to, through that allowing, start coming in. As it is coming in, it's coming in within this lens of vast spaciousness. And that spaciousness, the human self, like my human self, is experiencing this space in the joints, is experiencing this space in the muscles, it's experiencing this space in the pupils, it's experiencing space in the lungs, it's experiencing space inside the fascia system. There's a space that goes beyond the physical into the emotions that is spacious, into the thoughts that's spacious. So everything becomes very spacious. And it is through this inner space, there is this silence, and the silence of most luscious, comfortable silence that the human self has a long for in experiencing, because for majority of its lifetime on earth, it has met noise, the noise of thought, the noise of programs, the noise of conditioning, the noise of ancestry, the noise of the thoughts, the noise of the limitation. It has never experienced the silence of the vast inner space. So, and this to the human self that is not quite on board what is taking place can be very daunting, can be very actually hurtful if the human self is not willing or allowing to experience its greater self. And that can happen when the attachment to the identity is so much, which means, for example, if the attachment of my name to my human self is so attached that that is my identity, this can be very daunting. When the awareness of the great presence of the I am has come in, it recognizes that the human self is one part of its expression. So it moves from that tightness of knowing or thinking of itself to the space that knows all of it to be itself. So there's this breath, the breath of expansion. And again, what I really want to share, the, this, what I'm speaking of, is not about portals, is not about gateways, it's not about astrological signs, it's not about another octave or line, it's not about another download or upgrade or downgrade. It's not about, it's not about that activator or how to transmission. It's none of that. Actually, all of those fall by the wayside, because when the human self allows, and that call has come in for the human self to relax back, where the great I am steps in, all of that is far on the wayside. And yes, including light language. Most of you know, for several years, my human self took part in the transmission activation through many languages of light in the planetary call, and especially the activation of the crystalline diamond light body. It served its purpose. And this is one of the most profound things, when the awareness of the existence of the I am and the great master self comes in. It is recognized within that vast, spacious silence. All of those serve their time. So it is released, just like the past video, letting go. It is released. It has no option but to go, so others can take that part, because this is now here to be marinated in. And from here, life consciously, deliberately, in the true allowance. What I am saying in the frequency of allowance is not just allowing, it's beyond it. It's the allowance. Like when you were a child, you were having allowance. There's this allowance that's pouring in. And it cannot pour in when there is much attachment still. That's step 3. Again, the letting go. It cannot come in. It can only come in the silence when it has let go. That letting go of the attachment to spirit guides, the attachment to crystal, the attachment to angels, the attachment to ascended master, the attachment to the galactic family, the attachment to portals, Schumann resonance, the attachment to astrology, birth charts, attachment to pendulums, attachment to grounding, attachment to everything, attachment to ceremony, rituals, all of that, attachment to the ancestry land, attachment to the way the families had done things, attachment to religion, to all of that naturally and so much more steps aside because this vast space comes in. Now, for those of you that I am supporting in a private session with the I am alignment and allowing. My role is a very tiny role in just a couple of twigs, and I can only really collaborate with those that they have come to the I am. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. So these kind of like the way the fluidity of this goes, you can experience it directly through your own self. And that's what I can assist with. And some of you may already come to this space and experience the lush of this space. That my human self is very aware and is in awe of where has this space been? Because it has longed for it for so long, it never knew it existed. It exists when we go beyond the thought stream, mind, into the pure consciousness. And that's where many of you that took my 4-4 universal meditation, well, not many of you, some of you successfully were able to go to. The rest of you that there is a lot of attachment in the mind, and that cap's still there, hasn't allowed you, and you'll get there when it's time. So this is a short share following up on the previous Embodied INScension. For those of you that want to follow, please go to my YouTube channel, HoniB, HoniB, and watch the last 3 videos. Again, it is for those of you that have already surrendered, accepted, moved into the conscious awareness of your existence, of the greater self in the I am presence that you are. Otherwise, none of this will make sense to your human self. Have a blessed day, and you know how to reach me. Bye-bye.